keeping the low gear on. If it speeds up at a certain point, it will shift. There it is. See, it just shifted by itself, but it's still on the lock position. I'm going 45 into this turn, like I said earlier. I try to keep it about 5 miles under the suggested speed especially when I'm heavy. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time in the channel, welcome. And if it's you're returning back, welcome back. We are on our way to Washington. I'm on my way to Washington from this load. You probably saw the previous video on this. But I wanted to take advantage that we're going through hills and some mountain ranges. As a matter of fact, that's where we're going uphill right now with a slow truck in the front, so that's why we're having to slow down. It's one lane construction area. One thing that you don't find very often, there are definitely a few out there, but I wanted to put one for the channel because this is the rookie channel for those coming in or thinking of coming into the industry, flatbed especially, or just trucking. As far as how you guys saw it in the title, how to drive an automatic truck in the mountains. A lot of people have never driven an automatic truck. Some are used to manual only, but if you're a rookie, you're new, you've never been other than prior to school. Nowadays, most schools have automatic trucks. So other than that, you really haven't driven an automatic truck, even less in the mountains, unless you've had some experience already. So this video is for those type of guys, or if you want to be entertained. Again, I don't consider myself an expert. I'm just giving you my experiences and how I drive my truck, and how I've learned to drive it and manage it and control my speed and do it safely. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put it below in the comment section, guys. My windows on the side, I've just came out. If you saw the previous video, if not, go check it out after this. But I just came out through Wyoming, and there's a lot of slush and snow, so that's why my windows on the side are still messed up. But I'm almost to my stop in a couple hours here, but I wanted to take advantage and record this. What's on my list to do. So I'm going to show you some images as I'm driving here that I'll record afterwards, and show you the lever of how the automatic truck. Of course, you got the dashboard and all your oil temperature gauge, or air tanks, your brake, pressure gauge, your speedometer and all that that's expected. You should already know that if you've been through school or going through school right now. You should know that part of it. If not, there it is. I'm not going through all those specifically as a pre-trip. You guys can study that, maybe do that in a different video. But the biggest thing is being an automatic. Your automatic controls on a regular car, you're used to having them right about over here on this side, right? This is more like pickup truck where you have the lever right here. This little lever right there, which I'll show you guys see on the screen, on the picture and the image, this is where you have all your control for your transmission, right? You have your drive, your neutral, your reverse on there. You'll also have, if you press down, as for you will see in a little bit, maybe right now, you see a little bit, just to slow down, that's your J-brake controls, which you have 3 levels of J-brakes. The big thing when you're going up, down hills, steep hills, steep grades, or grades, be professionally, right? That's what you're paying attention to. And of course, it depends on your weight, if you're empty, if you're heavy, all that, on how you control it. So it takes a little bit of time, guys, to get used to it. If you're coming with Melton and you're going with the trainer or whatever company you're with, you go with the trainer, you know, make sure that you ask all those questions, make sure that they run you through it. They should, but doesn't mean they will in detail. So ask every question that you can in regards of scenarios on how to use your J brake, but that's what we're going to concentrate on. You guys know drive, you guys know reverse and neutral, right? So the biggest thing is you're going to see right here also on the screen again, where it says off and max. Right on the side of the lever, it says off and max. That's your J brake levels. As we pull down on this towards you, basically, you pull it down towards you, there's the 3 levels. It's actually 4, but the 3 basic levels of your J brake. I don't want to lower my CB all the way, but I'll lower enough for you for this purpose of this video. So level 1 being the least aggressive, level 3 or max, with level 4 being the most aggressive. Another thing to keep in mind is that this truck, these automatic trucks, this is a 2020 T680, Kenworth T680, and it's a automatic truck, but it's a semi-automatic. You know, it has a button right here on the side. You'll see it again on the screen, where it's your manual mode. Sorry, that's my dog Nyla. Lay down. That's your manual mode. You can put this in manual and be in control of shifting the gears yourself. You shift the gears by pressing up to go up a gear, pressing down, the lever down to go down a gear. And I'm paying attention here, guys, but the automatic, the computer will also not let you shift gears if you hit it by accident in the wrong area or RPM, and it knows that I shouldn't be changing gears here. It won't let you. It will beep at you and tell you, no, I'm not changing gears. It will ignore that command. But on manual mode, it will not. Now we're going on a little bit of a downgrade here. This guy in front of us is definitely heavier than us. So just to show you real quick, I'm going to go all the way down to max. And the way you go down to max J brake is you go all the way down to the 3rd notch, and then you hold it a little bit more further towards you, and it'll go to max level. You'll see it on the screen where it says, it'll have a little green engine light, and it'll say max or 3 dots, depending, or 2 dots or 1 dot, depending on what level of J brake you're in. Now I'm going to slow it down too much. I'm going to take it off. It automatically goes down to 10th gear. So depending on your speed and all that, the computer will take care of what gear to go to, depending on your RPM and your speed. The speed limit here is 80. And one thing that's common knowledge in Melton, we can let it drift down a little bit past 65. You don't have to be to 65, but I'm controlling my speed with my J brake. I'm not pressing brakes, guys. My foot is off both pedals. They're on the floor close just in case, but they're both off pedals. And I'm just looking at my speed and looking forward, pay attention to my surroundings using the Smith system. Just making sure that I got plenty of space. I give those guys that want to fly around me, give them space. And what you're listening to now, I have no J brakes on, but because I had them on, it is on 10th gear. And I'm going about 69 right now. I'm going to give myself a little more space from that guy. And I've been through here several times, so I know these hills. But this is not a very steep hill. It's just a long one. So depending on the weight of your load is going to push you down. And one mistake that I've seen a couple of guys do on the road through this year in different areas of the country is that, they're not governed maybe, or they're flying, and they're going down a steep grade that's coming up, and they want to pass you. They want to be flying. And guess what? They start going down the steep grade too fast. And guess what happens? Even if you apply your J brakes, it's not going to be able to hold you back, because if you're heavy or even empty and you're going too fast on a steep hill, it's very unsafe, and you're putting yourself and others in danger. So one thing I recommend here, I'm slowing down a little bit. Like again, I'm even going just 64. Speed limit is 80. I'm letting it cruise downhill. My foot is off the gas pedal, the fuel pedal. No J brakes, no nothing, just letting it coast. We're about, if I remember properly, we're about 75,000 pounds, somewhere around there, if I remember properly. It's been a couple of days since I scaled it, but we're pretty heavy. So downgrades will push you The same way that if you're going up the grade, it's going to slow you down. Downgrade is going to push you down, and you have to anticipate that before you start going down the grade. Just a little quick memory lane right about here. I'm going to post a picture on the side. I took that picture a couple of months ago, right before Christmas, going down here. This was full of snow. The road was clear, but it was beautifully full of snow right here. This guy's slowing down. I'm letting it coast a little faster. So I'm gonna get around Mr. May Trucking over here. Not an advertisement for you guys. I had a friend that went to work for them. Not sure if he stayed, but they're down from LA. But as you notice, I put the J brakes just a little bit to control my speed, kind of see what he was doing. I let it go. I'm letting it coast. And Melton trucks are governed at 65 miles an hour. If you're not aware of that, now you are. They're governed at 65. But again, when you're going down grade, as long as you're not going above the speed limit and you're doing it safely, you can let it coast. And that's how we gain a little bit of time or miles out there. All right, now we're going below 65. I'm pressing back on the fuel pedal, just watching my space. And I apologize, guys, if you guys can't see outside the windows too clearly, but sun's still out. I can see just fine. I got plenty of space with my signal light, looking both sides and getting over. I'm gonna give them thanks by flashing my lights over there. So now that we're a little bit straight away, there's a little bit of hill. So right here we're gonna go through a little bit of kind of rolling hills up and down a little bit. But the real test and the what I really want to show you is further ahead on how I use my J brakes to go down a very steep hill. Again, I just wanted to go over the basics as far as the controls, how they work, and engrave in your brain that you have all control of this truck. You have to make the decision and be aware of how heavy you are, and when you need to start slowing down or applying the J brakes. Rule of thumb for me, if I'm going up, you should learn that in school or during orientation. If you're going up a grade and you keep an eye on your gear number, if it starts going up on 7, you should be going down that grade on that same gear, or 1 or 2 gears lower, depending on your weight and the load that you have behind you. So just keep in mind that load is going to push you down. This load is about 42,000 pounds, and if I am going up a grade and I start accelerating at the top of it, and I don't start slowing down before I start going down the grade, it's going to push me faster, and it's going to take more jet brake, and possibly the need for me to use my brakes to slow me down to a more controlled speed. Have I done that? Yes, I've experienced that, and that's how you end up learning how to use your J brakes. And when you do it, it would happen. It will happen, and hopefully you're able to control it enough, and you're not going fast enough. That happens to you for whatever reason, that you're able to control and bring the truck to a more reasonable control speed where your J brakes and your gear are holding your speed. But if that happens, don't panic. If you realize that you were going a little too fast down the grade to start with, if you use the stabbing method of the brakes if needed, I've learned usually to slowly press on the brakes. Remember, there's air brakes, it takes a little longer to react, but to press, steady and firm, but not hard, not stabbing, on the brakes and bring it down to a controlled speed. Put the J brakes to max. And another thing I'm going to show you in a second, and make sure it's down to the gear and the speed that I need to. Lock the gear that I needed, lock it down, and let go of the brakes and not touch them again. So they're definitely going to get a little bit hot when you have to do that. But if you use it once, get to the speed that you need to, don't use it again, so that way they cool down and you have no brake issues or situations going further downhill. But you guys, I'm sure you can research those. Right now, I just want to talk to you about, show you how I use the J brakes to go up and down hills. Or not up hills, but going down hills and control my speed. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you're enjoying. Just stay tuned. I'm gonna wait till we get a little further or to another hill and show you again on this next clip. We'll show you and go through how I use it. All right, guys, be back with you in a second. Dead Man's Pass. All right, guys, we are actually almost at the spot where I wanted to show you guys what you guys see in front. We are, remember the pass? We're climbing up Dead Man's Pass here of 84 in Oregon, going towards westbound towards 82. We're going through this curvy area, a lot of curves right here, and you have to be careful through it. Again, the suggestion is towards rookies that are kind of getting used to being in your truck, in your own truck, and with no help. So we are drivers, and I'm sure we all drive four-wheelers, right? You know, our cars and all that. But one thing to get used to when you're first getting into a semi-truck is the fact, as you see right there in front of you, you'll see the warning sign, right? 60 miles an hour on this curve. That's mostly made for cars. That's for regular vehicles. Not meaning that a semi couldn't probably do it at 60 and you probably could, and blah, blah, blah. But I technically have learned to keep in my mind that 9 times out of 10, that warning speed is meant for, you know, a regular vehicle, not for a semi, you know, 80,000 pounds heavy going through a turn. So my goal generally, and my general rule of thumb, is to, slow it down a little bit, is to go, you know, a couple of miles under it, a couple of miles an hour under that speed, suggested speed. So if it's 60, you know, anywhere between 55 and 57, you know, somewhere around there. So that's usually my general try right there. We're going up the pass right now, climbing up, and one thing I'm just keeping an eye and just want you to kind of mention. I don't think you guys can see my dash in the screen. There's a couple of trucks behind me, so I'm keeping an eye on them. Got my hazard lights on, my foot's on the pedal. I'm going about 39 miles an hour right now, 38 miles an hour going up this hill, because I slowed down a little bit before I came up, because I'm not flying through it. The speed limit said is 65 for trucks, 70 for cars, but that doesn't mean you have to go 65 if you if you know it's not unsafe for you, or you don't feel comfortable through it. One thing that as a new driver, one thing you got to get used to is the movement of your cab in the truck, because it is air. You know, you have air suspensions on the bottom of the cab. And as you're making turns, your cab actually leans a little bit to the left or right with the momentum and gravity, you know, how gravity works. And so, you know, when you first get in a truck and you start taking those turns, of course, if you're going real slow, below speed, you're not going to feel it as much. But if you're pushing it, you're going to feel it. And I'm not saying I haven't, but if you're going, you know, at a safe speed, but you're going to the top level of that speed, you're going to feel your cab and gravity that pushes you to one side or the other, and it feels a little weird, but you're fine. But if it does feel weird, it's something you have to get used to. But until you get used to it, you're going to slow down, and I recommend that you do until you learn to manage your truck and how to handle your J brakes and your manual, how to control that as well, because there are times that you definitely need to do this, and this might be one of them for us. I'll try to show you a little bit on how I use manual in short spans of occasions, just to control my speed, either going up or down. But right now we're going up. We are in 10th gear. That's where transmission is at. And slow down a little bit more because this is a pretty tall one. Like I said, this is a very pretty steep grade in Desmond's Pass. Ergo the name of it, right? So we are going pretty high, but shifted to 9th gear. One thing I can say, when you're using the manual mode, just like if you're driving a manual truck, for those who have, taken their test on a manual truck, on your RPMs, there's the green section, and this truck is between 11 and 15, or 10 and a half and 15. I can't see it right now. Yeah, about 10 and a half to 11 and a half thousand RPM, 1100 RPMs. And that is the kind of the preferred area to shift gears. And you'll notice your transmission will do that automatically. Of course, it depends, the level of grade you're in, or if you're in flat surface, we're going down again. But you got to keep an eye on that one also when you're shifting manually, preferably, so you do not create any damage to your transmission, even though the computer will try to limit you. So right now, speed limit is 65, so I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to push this down, force it go down to 11th gear. I'm not on manual mode, it's still on regular mode, but you can push it down and it'll slow down for you 1 gear. If I try to go a 2nd gear, it's probably going to tell me no. Oh, it did it. That's because I'm downgrading. I'm going on a grade. Usually if you get to 20,000 RPMs, below 20,000 RPM, it'll still let you. Anything above 20,000 RPM, or if it's going too fast, it's not going to let you downshift. So it's going to give you a little bling sound, letting you know that no, it's not going to do that. Now if you put it on manual mode, which is hitting this button, and I'll take a picture of this later on your screen for you guys can see it. There's an M that shows up, and I think I've told you guys already. But right now, I took it off, and it shifted to 12th gear. Now we're going up a hill. I'm going to show you sometimes how I do use it. I'll put it on manual mode. We're going to go up this hill, and I just don't want to lose that much momentum. So as soon as I see it going below 65 miles an hour, boom, go to 11th gear. And then I'll click it back in, let it be back on manual. But it basically, it's like I downshifted before I actually got up the grade. You don't have to do that. It's just, the transmission will do its job by itself. You don't have to use it, but it's good for you to know, again, on how your transmission and your truck works, so you are able to control it properly. So we're going to be going up for a couple of minutes, guys, and then we'll start going down. So we'll get you guys when we get before we start going downhill. But right now, it's pretty much uphill for a second. All right, guys. So I stopped at the weigh station slash brake check area right before the pass. It's something that's suggested. Not necessarily have to. If you did a low tech child check and you're sure your brakes and all that's good, which you should, you don't necessarily have to, but I did just to double check. And also I need to take a quick let our little puppy take a quick little break. So we're about to start going down here in about a minute or two, so let's get ready for that. I'm merging here. Hopefully you guys can see me. And again, one more time, pay attention to the signs. I'll try to capture it from the GoPro.
Steep downgrade ahead.
Yep, steep downgrade ahead. And also mention how I'm functioning. So right now, we're in 11th gear. There are some signs. There's a sporting sign here. Some signs that gives you suggestion, your weight, depending on your weight, how much your speed should be as you're going down the pass. Yep. So we got about 5 miles. Well, it's a 6th grade downgrade, about 6 miles ahead. I start controlling right now. So what I did there, I'm gonna go down to the 3rd level of J brake because I'm going 65. We're not going downgrade yet, but I do not want to go too fast. This is what I would do, especially if you're first time coming through here, and again, just getting used to it. My foot's not on the pedal. You hear the engine because I have it on the 10th gear. There's your speed warning again. So according to the sign, we should be going about 25 miles an hour when we go downhill. There's also tell you truck escape ramp, where hopefully you never have to use in 2.5 miles in the grade. So again, I'm not using brakes. I'm using my J brakes to slow the truck down before we go down the hill. Just maintaining a speed without slowing anybody, too much, and I'm becoming a hazard to anybody behind us. But here we go. Max. J brakes. I'm gonna lock it. So the lock of the gear is gonna go based on how fast you're going. So anything under 55 is gonna be 9th gear, and so forth and so on. So now I want to control the downgrade. J brake is on 3rd level, just top one. My foot is not on the brake, but I'm keeping it close. I shouldn't have to use the brakes. And I know it says speed limit 65 miles for truck, but we're going on a downgrade and we're heavy. So I'm controlling my speed. Can you guys see the bottom over there? To your right, you kind of see the highway. I don't know if you can see, I'll try to zoom it in, but that's where we're gonna end up at. I don't worry about other cars, don't worry about other trucks that wanna go faster. You drive your own truck, this is your ship, you control it. So as you can see, I'm going up and down the J brakes. I'm just slowly bringing it down to the speed without just fully coming to a bad speed. So this is not the worst part of the grade. It shifted because I have it on lock. I have it on that low gear. So because I went down the speed, I'm gonna put my hazard lights on, let everybody else behind me. I see trucks coming. I think that I'm going real slow because they might want to go faster than me. There's a warning, it says 50 mile an hour suggested going in this turn. And I'm keeping the low gear on. If it speeds up at a certain point, it will shift. There it is. See, it just shifted by itself, but it's still on the lock position. I'm going 45 into this turn, like I said earlier. I try to keep it about 5 miles under the suggested speed especially when I'm heavy. This is not a little grades. And I'm using the J brakes. You can see me going from 3rd to 2nd. Now we're gonna start really going into a steep grade. So I'm gonna leave it all the way down. It's not all the way to the max, to the 4th, because I would take my lock gear function away from me. I'm just holding the speed, taking the turn nice and easy. If it starts speeding up, and if I don't feel like the J brake is going to hold it, because now we're going to go into a further, this is where it's holding it, it's holding it. There's your ramp to your right that hopefully you never have to use. Turn is 55. J brakes is doing his job. I have it on 3rd level. It's on lock. It's on 9th gear. It went up to 46. Not touching the brakes or anything, guys. I know you see probably, I don't know if you guys can see my feet, but I'm not touching it. Just letting the engine brake do his job and just keeping an eye of it. If I have to use my brakes to slow it down a little bit more, I only want to have to use it once. not, not super hard, but kind of with a stabbing brake, bring it down to a slower speed. And because I have my gear on the lock position, if I go under 40, I know it's going to go down. It's going to downshift one more gear, and that's going to help me slow down even more. So right now we're going at a good speed. This is not the critical downgrade where it's suggested to go lower, slower, but we're going at good speed. I've been through here before. It's holding. And there's a little spot where it kind of levels up a little bit before it starts going down again, and right there it's going to slow down just a little bit, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to slow down a little bit more. You guys can see ahead. It's all downgrade. 6 miles. The last part of this downgrade is very long. This is how you carefully, there's another ramp right there to the right. You can see in front of me on the GoPro cam. Now, one thing that I'm noticing, Smith system, for you guys that are with Melton or coming to, Smith system, or any truck driver, rookie guy. There's a truck ahead. The guy that was in the truck stop that took the front of me earlier, I don't know if that was recording by then, but he's on the right lane. He's going real slow. He has 2 trailers, so he's really slow down. I got trucks that are flying on the hammer lane, and I'm getting closer to him, so I'm keeping an eye on the guys that are behind me. So what I'm going to do, I am going to probably slow down, hit the brakes just a little bit, just a tad, to slow myself a little bit more, give myself room to move over without affecting the guys that are passing. So in this case, I am going to affect these guys. Just a second. I'm going to let it speed up just a little bit. We're okay. Bring it down to 3 on this turn. Just want to pass this guy, and we'll get back over to the right lane. You can notice, another thing also to know, when you are using your J brakes, your brake lights are on in your trailer. So if you ever wonder why trucks are quote unquote riding their brakes, they're not. They're not riding their brakes. And this is the last turn right here, guys. We're just straight away downhill. As you can see, I haven't touched my brakes. It sped up just a little bit just to pass that truck. So that way I didn't have to slow down all the way down to his speed, and I didn't want to jam on the brakes at all. So this is the goal, is that you do not have to use your brakes going down grade. That's why your J brake control and slowing down to a controlled speed before the downgrade is the important part. I'm gonna take these off because we're just on the straightaway now, and that's it. So it doesn't mean just let it all go right here, but I can let it speed up a little bit more. And I just take off. It's still on lock. It's gonna shift gears from the low because it's on 9. There we go. Still holding me back a little bit. Go 1 to level 1. Still in the lock, 10th gear, lock position. This guy's slowing down a little bit. I'm going to bring it back to 3 because I got vehicles on my left. Alright, he sped up. Oh, he's slowing down again. So you got to keep an eye on that, and you react as soon as you see it. Now, all I'm doing is just not trying. I got a couple of people behind me, and they need to control themselves. But I'm just using my common sense here. No J brake, just in the lock position. We're still kind of going down here a little bit. The weight is pushing us down. We're about 30 minutes from our stop. I'll give you a little tip from my personal spots right here. When you come down this exit right here, I think it's Arrowhead, fuel stop, truck stop, there's always parking here, guys. So if you come in this direction and you're tight on time and you can't get to the pilot, that's where we're going. This place is very nice. I'm still in the lock position, just so you guys know, but this place is very nice right here in the stop. 216, exit 216, going west on 84. It's a very nice truck stop. They do have a Kenworth shop there too. Yeah, I took it off, took off the lock. It's just changed gear to 11th gear. Back on the pedal. So we're all good. We're all good. That's how it goes. Safe, down the hills, controllable, safely, and you get home safety every time. But this truck stop right here is real nice, and there's a casino close for those who, if you do a 34, there's a casino next to it. So, hope you guys enjoy that. Hope it's a little bit instructional, gives you an idea for those coming in on how these automatic trucks work, and how to safely go down a steep grade with these automatic trucks. And again, I'm not considering myself an expert, but just wanted to show you guys. I've been wanting to show you guys how excuse me, how these work. Come on, Jeep, I want to move to the right lane and you are going slow. So I'm staying right here because apparently I'm going a little bit faster than him. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end the video here. Hope that helped. You guys know what to do. Push the like button if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And we'll see you on the next video. Watch those videos, some of those videos right here to your right on the screen. Check one of those out if you haven't yet. And I sure appreciate you guys watching. Wolf Friday out. Peace.